Our guest is Tom Fitton. His new book is called A Republic Under Assault. If you're on Twitter, you should be following him because he's posting good stuff most every day, sometimes many times in a day. And he's doing the good work we've mentioned before of actually going out and using lawyers and the court system to get answers to questions that otherwise would be asked and not answered. And he has a lot of new developments, a book coming out October 20th. Tom, what is the most shocking thing that you're going to reveal on October 20th in this book?
Well, it's going to be shocking because it's going to be all in one place in the sense that there's been this really incredible effort by the left to upend our republic, our Republican form of government, where we have a constitution, we have laws, we have sovereignty that protects our borders, we have elections that reflect our will. We put into president an office based on who we pick, as opposed to letting a deep state bureaucrat pick it. And so we've got this attack on the presidency, attack on the borders, attack on elections, and it's undoing, and in many ways it could undo our entire system of governance.
You talk about the documents that show senior officials in the Obama administration, with the approval of the president, spying on the Trump campaign and on then candidate or then president-elect Donald Trump. That's a pretty shocking announcement.
Yeah, the documents are pretty clear, and they're not documents that that we concocted. This is material created by Susan Rice, who wrote a memo about that discussion. Sally Yates, the top deputy in the Justice Department, who was surprised about the president's knowledge and about General Flynn and that issue. You had notes by Peter Strzok talking about how Comey and the president talked about the Flynn phone calls, and that Comey supposedly told the president, President Obama, they were legit. And despite all of that, they went and harassed the president with the dossier. And obviously, they targeted and abused General Flynn, an abuse of power rarely seen before in American history. And it all happened, after an Oval Office meeting with Barack Obama and Joe Biden.
And it's important to understand that Biden was involved and made it a point to be involved because he knew that 4 years later he would be running against Donald Trump, and he was making every plan he could to sabotage his presidency. There is blood on Biden's hands here, right?
Well, that's a good point you make. I don't know why he was doing this initially, other than I call it malicious, seditious conspiracy. But you raised the question whether he was thinking about running even then to replace Barack Obama, and I think it's a fair question.
You're going to be addressing the issue of voter fraud in this book, and I think it's one of my worst fears that every vote not count and that we not have fair elections. What should we expect to see there?
Well, I think you're going to have the possibility of increased voter fraud because of the all these millions of ballots that will be swamping the mails. Forget about voter fraud. Let's just put that aside for a second. What about just making sure your vote is counted and making sure the ballots that you put in the mail will get to the place it's going to go? And I don't think you can, I don't know about you, I wouldn't risk it. I'd go vote in person. And the left is trying to scare you from voting in person. I would encourage everyone listening to vote in person if they can, because that's the best way your vote is counted, because otherwise you're relying on the good old Postal Service and who knows who else to intervene to get your ballot to its location. And, I don't know about you, I don't trust them.
The book is called A Republic Under Assault. It's from Judicial Watch, and the president of Judicial Watch is Tom Fitton. He's our guest. Hillary Clinton's email scandal. You cover that in the book as well.
Well, that's the reason she's not president. I thought it was important to put it in there. And Judicial Watch uncovered it. We didn't do this work to prevent her from being president, but that was a consequence of it. She hid all these emails from the American people. We uncovered the fact that they were hidden. We exposed pay-to-play scandals at the State Department that were part of the emails on her system. And all of that came out in the middle of 2016. So her cover-up exploded at the worst possible time. And, one of the other outrages that we highlight is that despite all of that, she hasn't been prosecuted not only by the Obama Justice Department, but by this Justice Department.
It's amazing how she and her husband can seemingly just slither through life when everyone around them, everything around them is blowing up, and yet they manage to avoid the consequences of their actions. An issue that was key to the 2016 campaign, and I think for Trump needs to be an issue again because it doesn't go away, is illegal immigration. And you talk about sanctuary city policies in the book. Talk about that if you would.
Yeah, we can have a wall 100 foot high, but it won't work as well as it ought to if you've got all these magnets for illegal immigration in the form of sanctuary cities that allow not only illegal aliens essentially to live there without much trouble, but also to allow those among them who go on to commit crimes for which they're arrested, meaning non-immigration crimes like violent crimes and whatever, to get out without being sent over to the feds for deportation. I mean, I don't know about you, but to me, that is just the height of recklessness and outrageousness. And of course, we all know just from crooks, they tend to do crooked things again and again and again. So these people are released and they go on to commit additional crimes, all of which could have been prevented if the law had been followed.
Was October 20th the earliest date you could get this out? Because I know that this is going to have an impact on the election. I know that when people see this, it matters. Was this chosen as close to the election day as possible, or was this is the earliest I can rush this thing and get it out?
I don't know. The publishers, they've got their secret sauce as to when books come out, but this is a rush job. We began working on it, and there's a lot of lead time required, but even just getting it for October 20th, we're still rushing to meet deadlines.
Well, you said before we started talking on air that you wanted to limit the time because you were rushing to get this thing finished, and I can appreciate that. As Rush Limbaugh used to say, he wasn't ever going to write another book because he doesn't have an iron butt, and somehow you keep managing to churn this stuff out, and it's great work that you do. I know that you're supported by the public at Judicial Watch, and I'm thankful for the work you do. The book is A Republic Under Assault. It is now available for pre-order, and it will be available in bookstores on October 20th. Keep up the good work, Tom Fitton.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And there you have it. If you're on Twitter, he's a good follow. He's constantly releasing tidbits and teases of what his organization finds out there. They use lawyers to go in and get information that journalists are not asking. In fact, in many ways, they do the work that the New York Times and Washington Post won't do when it comes to Obama and Biden and Hillary and sanctuary city policies and voter fraud. And that's unfortunate because, I am prepared to say we're not going to win every election as Republicans, as conservatives, as libertarians. I'm okay with that. What I want is a system of fairness. And there has not been a system of fairness. And I think the breakdown is not just within the Democrat Party. I think the breakdown is within a media. A sense of journalistic ethics has been thrown away as those individuals, instead of going into politics as candidates, have gone into media as sort of the referees that call fouls every time the other team scores. And it really is a breakdown of a major institution in our society. So check it out. The book is called A Republic Under Assault. You can pre-order it now. It'll be available October 20th. It's from Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch.